Hello dolls, welcome back to my channel. I feel like this has been a year. I think it's also been a very transformative year, especially in my life and for this channel. I feel like the expectations that I had for my channel at this point in time have already been exceeded, and I just want to extend a big thank you to you guys because this has been such a fun year. We've talked about a lot, we have discussed so much, and we have just, I don't know, been a little shady, covered some topics. I couldn't have asked for anything better. And I also feel like 2022 has blessed us with some pretty big pop culture moments. I feel like more actually happened this year than last year. I feel like 2021 was a little boring. So in this video, I do want to go ahead and cover some of the biggest pop culture moments of 2022. And so basically what I'm going to do is take it month by month and just cover the biggest pop culture moment that happened that month. And for some months where I couldn't choose one, I did choose either 2 or 3. And I do just want to quickly remind you guys that this is from a pop culture perspective and not from a world news perspective. And sometimes what events one person considers big and the other person considers might be subjective, but I did do my best in choosing. But before we get into it, let's go ahead and take a word from today's sponsor, MD Hair. I feel like as young people, a lot of us don't take our hair care as seriously as we should. Or we wait until our hair is severely damaged or falling out, or until you take out your protective style and realize you have lost a bunch of hair. So recently I've been taking steps to get more serious about my hair care, and MD Hair has been a huge help. With MD Hair, you will get a customizable treatment that is formulated by dermatologists and will have you well on your way to having healthier and thicker hair. With MD Hair, you start out with a quiz about your hair goals and your hair issues. They'll ask you several questions to get to the root of the problem, such as your hair texture, your diet, and stress levels, all of which affect how you should care for your hair. And based on your results, MD Hair will formulate a kit based on your needs. Each kit contains a shampoo, a conditioner, collagen, a hair serum, and hair supplements. Your MD Hair subscription also includes free 24/7 medical chat support with registered nurses and dermatologists. I twisted my hair up a couple days ago, and while my hands were in it and I was working through it, I noticed that my hair is feeling a lot healthier and it's a lot softer and a lot fuller. And not only have I noticed a difference in my hair, but I've also noticed that my skin and my nails are looking a lot stronger and healthier as well. So the supplements and collagen I just take in the morning when I'm taking my other daily vitamins, and the serum is actually perfect for me to use at night when I'm moisturizing my hair because it has this sort of dropper that's perfect for getting right in between the parts of my hair. Then I have my shampoo and my conditioner, which I've just been using with my regular wash day routine, and they are paraben and sulfate free as well as color safe. And I know some of you guys are wondering, but these products are perfect to use on type 4 hair. In as little as 6 weeks, you'll notice less shedding as well as healthier, thicker hair. So go ahead and get started customizing your hair treatment with MD Hair, and you can use my promo code Naomi70 to get 70% off your first month of customized products. It is a limited time offer, so you do want to make sure that you don't miss out. Thank you so much to MD Hair for sponsoring today's video, and now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the biggest pop culture moments of 2022. So back in January, Rihanna stepped out for a walk with her partner A$AP Rocky. The two of them have been together officially since November of 2020. And on their walk, Rihanna had on this sort of pink coat and she left it open and exposed at the belly, and she revealed that she actually had a baby bump. After confirming her pregnancy, Rihanna showed off her bump in several Instagram posts, at red carpets, and at events. Rihanna gave birth to her son back in May, meaning she unfortunately missed this year's Met Gala. And just recently, she shared the first few pictures of her son, and he's honestly a cutie, and he's Rihanna's twin. Back in February, the world became fascinated with the Russian scammer Anna Sorokin, aka Anna Delvey. Anna posed as a German heiress who was set to inherit over $60 million on her 25th birthday. Anna scammed her way into New York City's social elite, eating at the finest restaurants and staying at the finest hotels. Her biggest grift came when she tried to collect funds for the Annadelby Foundation, which she intended to be a hub and gathering place for New York City's elite. Anna forged documents regarding her net worth in order to acquire loans for the foundation. She stiffed several people along the way, from her friend Rachel, who was stuck paying for their $60,000 trip to Morocco, to the 11 Howard Hotel, where she ran up a $30,000 bill. Anna's crimes also included purposely depositing bad checks, and when everything was said and done, she'd scammed people out of nearly $275,000. In 2019, Anna was facing between 4 and 12 years in prison. In February, Netflix released the drama Inventing Anna, which was based on Delvey's grifts and schemes. The series reignited people's fascination with the fake German heiress, with some of the quotes from the show becoming viral TikTok sounds. Inventing Anna was nominated for 2 Emmys, and Julia Garner is currently nominated for a Golden Globe and a Critics' Choice Award for her role as Anna. Back in October, the real Anna Delvey was released from jail on house arrest. A lot of social media actually thinks of her as some kind of modern-day Robin Hood girl boss icon. This is one that I'm sure doesn't need much introduction. But back in March at the 94th Academy Awards, Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett's bald head, calling her G.I. Jane. Back in 2018, Jada actually announced on the Red Table Talk that she'd been diagnosed with alopecia. Although Will did initially laugh at the joke, Jada obviously was not too pleased. Seconds later, Will was shouting at Chris to keep Jada's name out of his mouth. He then climbed on stage and slapped him. Despite his outburst, Will still won an Oscar for Best Actor for his role in King Richard. During his acceptance speech, he apologized to the Academy, but not directly to Chris Rock. In consequence, Will was banned for 10 years from attending any events hosted by the Academy. Over the next few months, Will issued several apologies, Jada made a statement, and apparently Chris Rock's ticket sales for his stand-up shows soared. 3 months after the incident, in July, Will posted a YouTube video directly apologizing to Chris Rock and his family. I mean, I don't condone violence in any form, but the think pieces and the discourse that came from the situation were honestly just exhausting as hell. And it was also very annoying to me how so many celebrities acted like they were traumatized and just shaken up by this slap, as if that's the worst thing that they've witnessed in Hollywood. Like, come on now. Like, this happened back in March, and news outlets are still publishing articles about it as if there's more to say when there's really not. And I really did try to escape ever having to discuss this, but I promise this is the first and last you will hear from me about this topic. On April 1st, Harry Styles released As It Was, which was the lead single from his 3rd studio album, Harry's House. The song was praised by fans, critics, and casual listeners alike, most of which enjoyed the upbeat and retro sound of the song. As It Was also inspired a viral TikTok trend in which people showed how much their lives had changed. As It Was earned Harry his 2nd #1 in the Hot 100 and spent 15 weeks total at that spot. It's the first song in history to have 5 separate runs atop the Hot 100. As It Was also holds the Guinness World Record for being the most streamed Spotify track in 24 hours by a male artist. Several year-end lists have given As It Was a high ranking, with Billboard ranking it at number 3 and Entertainment Weekly naming it the year's best song. As It Was is nominated at the Grammys for Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best Pop Solo Performance, and Best Music Video. Currently, it's number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 year-end chart. So back in May, for the Met Gala, Kim Kardashian was adamant about wearing Marilyn Monroe's Happy Birthday, Mr. President dress. Several people criticized Kim's look, with the majority of the criticism being on how she was adamant on wearing the original dress for any length of time. The styling was also criticized. Instead of going full Marilyn, Kim slicked her hair back in a bun that was on brand for her but still left a lot to be desired. A lot of people said the look would have been better if she had a replica made in nude fabric that actually matched her skin tone, and I agree. The designer of Marilyn's dress, Bob Mackie, didn't appreciate Kim wearing it. He said, "I thought it was a big mistake. Marilyn was a goddess. A crazy goddess, but a goddess. She was just fabulous. Nobody photographs like that. And it was done for her. It was designed for her. Nobody else should be seen in that dress." Kim was also criticized by actress Lily Reinhart for promoting unhealthy behavior in order to fit into the dress. Backlash increased once pictures of the dress surfaced, showing a torn zipper and missing crystals that were allegedly caused by Kim. Ripley's, however, claims the dress wasn't damaged and that they worked hard to preserve its integrity. On The Kardashians, which aired back in the fall, Kim tried to do a bunch of damage control. She acted like the dress was a little bit big on her, despite not being able to fully zip it, and did the most to come off like she had the utmost respect for Marilyn and the dress. According to her, she's extremely respectful to the dress and to American history. In my opinion, someone who genuinely respected the dress as a historical artifact would have never even thought to attempt to put it on their body, no matter how much they tried to make it seem as if they cared and they were doing their best and taking care of it and preserving it. Like, cut the shit. Kim just wanted to have her moment, and I'll never understand why a museum actually allowed this to happen, whether it was a Kardashian or not. And I also don't understand why a replica wasn't good enough for Kim, because No one would have been able to tell that it was a replica. And to me, it's just crazy that this whole circus came from a look that was, at the end of the day, genuinely pretty underwhelming. At the end of May, the first part of the 4th season of Stranger Things dropped on Netflix. The show is one of the platform's most popular series. Stranger Things was credited with starting the Kate Bush renaissance because her song Running Up That Hill was featured in an episode of the show. Shortly after, the music video doubled in YouTube views, and the song was inescapable on TikTok over the summer. Because of Stranger Things making the song go viral, Kate Bush earned her first top 10 in the United States 37 years after Running Up That Hill was released. In June, BTS announced their hiatus to pursue their solo projects. The news came just days after BTS gave their first concert in South Korea since the pandemic. The day after the announcement was made, their company HYBE released a statement saying, BTS are not taking a hiatus. Members will be focusing more on solo projects at this time, and claimed that saying it was a hiatus was simply a mistranslation. ARMY joked online about BTS having the shortest hiatus in history. There was speculation that HYBE's statement was a form of damage control. After the dinner party in which BTS announced their hiatus, HYBE's stock dropped 28% in South Korea. The main reason for the hiatus was so that the members could complete their compulsory military service. Back in 2020, a law was passed, which was actually nicknamed the BTS law, which allows male K-pop idols to postpone their enlistment so that it has to be completed by age 30 rather than age 28. In addition, a complete exemption does exist for artists, performers, and athletes who have been able to sort of raise the prestige of South Korea on the world stage. And of course, there was debate as to whether or not BTS should be exempt from enlisting, and this was mostly due to their part in popularizing K-pop in the West, as well as their massive contributions to the South Korean economy. According to the Hyundai Research Institute, BTS brings in about $3.5 billion to South Korea's economy each year. Some estimates actually put that number as high as $5 billion. To put to rest discussion as to whether BTS would be granted exemption, they announced in October that they would all enlist rather than seek exemption. The oldest member, Jin, was the first to enlist. It's been said that each member will release a solo project and promote it before enlisting. By 2025, the group hopes to reconvene after they've all completed their service. On June 9th, Britney Spears married for the 3rd time, tying the knot with her longtime boyfriend Sam Asghari. The wedding took a lot of people on the internet by surprise. Still, the event was clearly planned to some extent based on the decorations and the celebrity guests in attendance. However, opinions did differ as to exactly how much of a hand Britney had in planning the wedding herself. People pointed out the lack of a bridal party, the lack of professional hair and makeup, and the fact that the wedding took place on a Thursday.
It is kind of strange that she and Paris Hilton and Drew Barrymore all went on the late night circuit, all to talk about Britney's wedding. But why would this expensive, glamorous wedding have been so last minute on a Thursday that Paris had to cancel on the president? And I also have been told by a source who I cannot reveal, and you can take this with a huge grain of salt, they know someone there, and that person also had to cancel very major plans to be there. I'm not going to give any more details than that because I don't want to out anybody, which feeds back into my idea that this wedding is a cover-up for something. And then there's this weird post that Britney herself made where, once again, she mentions her fairy tale wedding, and then she thanks Drew Barrymore, Selena Gomez, Madonna, and Paris Hilton for surprising her.
Side note, when I was in 9th grade, I found out one of my teachers got married, and it was during the week because I called her name, and she was like, "That's not my name anymore." And I was like, "What?" She was like, "That's not my name anymore. I got married last night." And I was like, "On a Wednesday? You got married on a Wednesday?" So my point is, it can happen. Britney and Sam have been together for about 2.5 years before their wedding, having met on the set of her Slumber Party video. Several people are convinced that Sam is really some sort of handler or someone hired by Britney's dad to keep an eye on her and control her. I know there was even more talk about this just a couple weeks ago when some posts from Britney's birthday celebration hit the internet. Britney told Vogue about her wedding. "We really wanted to make this a small and beautiful moment with family and friends. We wanted warm and feminine colors, including blush, white, cream, and gold, and a lot of various shades of pink, blush, and reds." Some of the celebrity guests in attendance included Paris Hilton, Selena Gomez, Drew Barrymore, and Donatella Versace. To add to the conspiracy, it was pointed out that Britney seemed surprised by some of the guests in attendance, when it's usually more typical to know who all is going to be at your wedding of all events. Back in July, Beyonce released Renaissance, which was her 7th studio album. Renaissance is intended to be an homage to house and dance music and also to pay respect to the Black and queer artists who helped pioneer the genre. For Renaissance, Beyonce worked with some of the greats, including Grace Jones and Nile Rodgers. Beyonce conceptualized Renaissance during the pandemic and said that she just wanted to give people an album that they could dance and feel good to. Several of the songs from Break My Soul, Alien Superstar, and especially Cuff It started viral social media trends that did in fact show people dancing and having a good time. The themes of Renaissance are escapism, self-expression, and hedonism. Renaissance, of course, made it on several year-end lists, with Pitchfork, Vulture, and multiple other publications naming it the best album of 2022. The only issue that fans seem to have with Renaissance is the fact that we're still eagerly awaiting some visuals and some music videos to support the album. The pink sauce went viral this summer after mixologist Chef P posted videos about the product back in July. Once the sauce went viral on TikTok, several people tried it for themselves, paying $20 a bottle. Several customers reported their bottles had exploded or had an off smell, both of which point to bacteria possibly growing in the bottle or ingredients possibly being spoiled. Initially, the ingredients were listed as water, sunflower seed oil, raw honey, distilled vinegar, garlic, dragon fruit, pink Himalayan sea salt, dried spices, lemon juice, milk, and citric acid. Mind you, the initial batches were shipping out of Florida during the summer. Chef P didn't seem to take much of the initial backlash to heart, reducing it to hate and just people being too hard on her. Other customers showed concern for the conditions in which the pink sauce was made and the fact that each batch seemed to be a different shade. Things escalated when a TikToker called Allured Beauty, whose real name is Allie, sent the product to be lab tested after doing her own taste test. This led to an episode of the Karamo Brown Show in which Karamo had Chef P and Allie on for a discussion, which really wasn't a discussion, rather Chef P just attacking Allie over very valid criticisms, and Karamo not only allowing it but also joining in. And of course, the episode has been taken off the internet, presumably due to the amount of backlash that it received. A couple months ago, Chef P released a new version of the pink sauce in collaboration with Dave's Gourmet. She sent the new version to Allie. Allie and several others who tried the improved pink sauce said it went from having a condiment-like consistency to now tasting more like a salad dressing. But at least now we can confirm that the pink sauce is FDA approved.
What do you mean FDA approved? I don't sell medical products. The pink sauce is not a medical product. The pink sauce don't contribute to your health. I never said that.
After Game of Thrones' abysmal ending in 2019, fans were welcomed back to the world of Westeros to see the Dance of Dragons unfold. To put it briefly, the Dance of Dragons is the civil war between the two heirs to the Iron Throne, Rhaenyra Targaryen, who is named heir by her king and father, and Aegon Targaryen, her younger half-brother, who is the rightful heir according to Westerosi tradition. Some of the show's characters, Daemon and Rhaenyra Targaryen, were some of the most popular fictional characters of the year. Honestly, this show gave me some of the best memes that I've seen for the entire year, and that's why I really do love the Game of Thrones fandom. I've been a fan since I was 12 or 13, which is probably kind of young, now that I'm thinking about it. But, I wasn't as wowed by House of the Dragon as I was by season 1 of Game of Thrones, but I think overall I'm going to enjoy House of the Dragon more in its entirety, just because the adaptation is going to be a lot better because the source material was already completed, and we didn't get that with Game of Thrones. And it really is a huge accomplishment to have been able to draw in people who swore that they would never watch another show in the Game of Thrones universe just because of how upset they were by the ending of the original Game of Thrones series. House of the Dragon actually had HBO's highest premiere to date, with almost 10 million people tuning in to watch the season premiere. In August, Blackpink ended a nearly 2-year hiatus with the release of their song Pink Venom. It was a pre-release single to promote their second album, Born Pink. Pink Venom interpolates Rihanna's Pon de Replay and references the Notorious B.I.G.'s Kick in the Door. Fan reception of Pink Venom was mixed. Initially, I didn't really like it either, but I don't hate it now after listening to it quite a few times. I think for me, though, the only standout on Born Pink was Shutdown. I did really like that song. That was one of my favorite K-pop releases this year. And while some people called Pink Venom a dud, other people praised its creativity and experimentation, which to me is kind of funny because if you know anything about Blackpink and their music, Pink Venom follows the Teddy formula to a T. Pink Venom topped the Global 200, making it the first song by a girl group to do so. It also won a MAMA award and a Japanese VMA for Best Video. At the end of the month, Blackpink performed Pink Venom at the VMAs, making them the first female K-pop artist to do so. So I think this is one of those cases where people talked more about the drama surrounding the movie than the movie itself. The film in question is Don't Worry Darling, which was directed by Olivia Wilde. It starred Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, Chris Pine, Gemma Chan, and Wilde was in the film as well. Throughout promotions, the personal drama surrounding the film was so much that it felt like a new story was coming out every day. Back in September of 2020, Harry Styles was cast as the male lead, replacing Shia LaBeouf. This proved to be the kiss of death for Don't Worry Darling because it was the catalyst for 2 years of drama, mainly surrounding a supposed affair between Harry and Olivia. Aside from the Harry drama, Olivia was also accused of lying about firing Shia LaBeouf when he actually quit the film, and she apparently was begging him to stay. In addition, there was tension between Olivia and Florence. Olivia sang Florence's praises on social media, yet Florence had stopped mentioning Olivia altogether whenever she spoke about the film. Florence skipped the press and photo call at the Venice Film Festival, and Olivia did her best to avoid questions about the affair and any on-set friction. There was also a weird moment at the premiere where people were convinced that Harry Styles spat in Chris Pine's lap. The rest of the month was filled with moments that fueled more drama over the relationship between Harry and Olivia and the conflict between Olivia and Florence. It's been reported that after 2 years of dating, Harry and Olivia have broken up, putting an end to the melodrama that many people found more entertaining than the film that caused it all. Back in October, the phrase low vibrational plate was all Black social media could talk about, and I'm sure social media in general once it got there. The phrase was coined by Chef Stormy after she was seen on TikTok criticizing a woman's plate at a cookout. According to Chef Stormy, if you fill your plate with free food at a cookout, that's low vibrational, and to her, the only key to success is having a plate that looks like wartime rations.
But I would never eat a plate that looked like this. You could pay me $1 million to do that to myself. Oh my God. And it deserves better than that. That's low vibration. And you took it. I would have been like, no plate like that. I tell you what I want. You don't tell me what I want. So my thought process is if you can put it on my plate, but I don't have to eat it, I got the discount. I won't even look at it. That make you look bad. I'm a queen. Queen's plate from last. If we said two plates, we play together, and so who's royalty? They would say this person. I agree.
The TikTok sparked memes and discourse all over social media, with some celebrities even stepping in to share their opinions. Some people took offense to Coach Stormy's ideas, and I really hope I live to see the day when people stop getting offended by the words of people who lack common sense. The woman Coach Stormy was talking to in the video's name is Tammy Price, and she claimed Coach Stormy was like a big sister to her. She said Coach Stormy helped her go from homeless to a successful entrepreneur who was now doing well for herself. Coach Stormy also has a mentorship community that costs $69 to join, and she hosts getaways with the members that can cost up to $10,000. To me, it just seemed like Coach Stormy found another way to sort of prey on people's desperation and their desire to want to change their circumstances pretty quickly. And as people always say with these things, if it looks too good to be true, it usually is. If someone is making you pay a bunch of money to figure out their secrets and their business tips and they'll put you on the road to success, just assume that they got to the level that they did because they convinced a bunch of other people to pay them money for their secrets and not because they're some sort of genius mogul. Stop believing the hype, people. Just stop. Honestly, I feel like this year was just the year of cheating. Like, we had Adam Levine, we had the Terror Twins, Travis and Tristan, who at this point are just perpetual lifetime offenders. And I think the one that had people the most up in arms was this whole cheating scandal with the Try Guys. And their name says it best. They're a group of guys who try things on the internet. The Try Guys got their start on BuzzFeed, but have since left and formed their own production company. Fans began to notice that one of the members, Ned Fulmer, was appearing in less and less of the Try Guys content. Of course, Twitter launched an investigation, leading to rumors that Ned was cheating with Alex Herring, one of their producers. Reddit and Twitter users began to speak out and say that they'd seen Alex and Ned cheating in public, with some even providing photo evidence. Days later, the Try Guys announced on their Instagram that after an internal review, Ned would no longer be working with them. On his own Instagram, Ned confirmed the cheating rumors. Not only was Ned married, Alex also had a partner that she'd been with for 10 years. The Try Guys released a video statement explaining what happened with Ned and saying they would edit him out of any footage that they plan to use in the future. SNL decided to make a sketch about the events, and many fans didn't appreciate the parody since it seemed to make fun of the Try Guys for actually holding Ned accountable for his actions. On October 21st, Taylor Swift released her 10th album, Midnights. Taylor said the album was inspired by her anxiety, insecurities, and sleepless nights. Midnight set several records, including holding all 10 of the top spots on the Hot 100. Midnights also became the fastest-selling album of the year and broke the Spotify record for most single-day streams for an album. In addition, Midnights was the first album to sell over 1 million copies in its opening week since Reputation, which was Taylor's 2017 album. To promote the album, Taylor Swift announced the Eras Tour, in which she would also perform songs from her previous albums. Due to unprecedented demand, the Ticketmaster site crashed during the pre-sale in mid-November. Despite this, over 2 million tickets were still sold, breaking a record for single-day ticket sales. Over 14 million people attempted to buy pre-sale tickets, many of whom were either unsuccessful due to demand or chose to pay unreasonably high prices for the tickets. Ticketmaster canceled the general sale due to insufficient inventory. Both Taylor Swift and Ticketmaster received backlash, with Ticketmaster being criticized for its flawed system that many alleged was a monopoly. It was hard to pick a month to associate him with because I feel like the latter half of this year has just been one big L for Kanye West, and I've done my absolute damnedest to not talk about him at all on my channel or any of his antics because I just hate seeing the ignorant discourse that pops up about it anytime someone mentions his name, and I just hate the fact that people try to rationalize and defend his actions because they're like, oh, Kanye's playing chess, y'all are playing checkers, this is all part of his master plan. Like, stop. Like, y'all look a mess. Like, with all respect and with all disrespect, you look a mess. In light of anti-Semitic comments and being publicly seen wearing a White Lives Matter shirt, Adidas said that they were reviewing their partnership with Kanye. On Drink Champs, Kanye said, and I quote, "I can say anti-Semitic things and Adidas won't drop me." Other companies such as Gap and Balenciaga had already ended their relationships with Kanye West. I truly have to laugh at Balenciaga trying to be on the right side of history, seeing how things are going for them now. On October 25th, Adidas announced they were ending a nearly decade-long partnership with Kanye. It seemed the final straw were images on the internet showing a hate group publicly supporting Kanye's comments. Kanye was a big cash cow for Adidas, having brought in over $2 billion for the company last year. After being dropped from Adidas, Kanye West lost his billionaire status. In the early hours of November 1st, Migos member Takeoff was shot and killed in Houston, Texas. The fatal encounter occurred outside of a bowling alley that had been booked for a private event. A group of about 40 people were gathered outside the venue. An argument broke out between Quavo and another man, which Takeoff wasn't involved in. After Quavo and his entourage turned to leave, a scuffle broke out and shots were fired, allegedly from 2 weapons. As soon as the news hit the internet, fans and celebrities alike mourned Takeoff's death. Several shared positive stories in his memory and celebrated his impact on the culture and sound of hip-hop. Takeoff's death sparked more conversation about the promotion and prevalence of violence in the hip-hop and Black communities, as his passing was the most recent in a long string of rappers who have died senselessly due to gun violence. On December 9th, SZA released her second studio album, SOS. It had been over 5 years since her critically acclaimed debut, Control. After SZA talking for years about struggles with her record labels, some of which are still coming out, SOS finally arrived, almost like a Christmas present. If you want to know my thoughts on SOS, you can check out my album review. SOS was also critically acclaimed and was received warmly by fans from the moment it was released. Metacritic rated the album a 91 out of 100. SOS is already on year-end lists, with Variety ranking it as the 10th best album this year. SOS broke several records, including having the highest single-day streams for an R&B album. The day of its release, SOS occupied all 10 of the top spots on Apple Music, so now SZA is actually tied with Cardi B for the female artist with the most top 10s on Apple Music. And recently it's been projected that SOS will reach number 1 in the Hot 200, which it might have done by the time you guys are actually seeing this. And just a couple weeks ago, SZA actually announced her first arena tour, which, big flags, but I got tickets, so I'm going to be going, and I can't wait to see what SZA has in store. This one has been a while in the making. I feel like this was the year of high-profile trials. Back in July of 2020, Megan Thee Stallion was shot in the foot after an altercation after leaving Kylie Jenner's pool party. Allegedly, she was shot by rapper Tory Lanez. Currently, he's facing 3 felony charges. If he's convicted of all 3, he could face 22 years in prison. Megan's former friend and assistant, Kelsey, has been all over the place with her version of events and her testimony, despite evidence that she claimed in the past that Tory was the one who shot Meg. And I don't really want to speak on this too much because I'm not in the courtroom, nor do I want to get sued, nor do I want to spread misinformation to people. But there are several YouTubers who are covering this case and covering it pretty well. Two people that I'm watching cover it are Lovely T and Tisa Tells. And at the time that I'm recording, this case is still ongoing, so it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. This year, Bad Bunny had the sort of year that most artists dream of and very few get to experience. His album Verano Sin Ti came out in May and became the second Spanish-language album to top the Hot 200. It also had the biggest streaming week on Spotify for any Latin album. It's since been confirmed that Bad Bunny is the second most streamed artist on Spotify, just behind Drake. In addition, Verano Sin Ti is the first Spanish-language album to be nominated for Album of the Year at the Grammys. Time ranked the album as the best one of 2022. Complex and Rolling Stone ranked it at number 2, and Pitchfork ranked it at number 5. Verano Sin Ti is number 1 on the Billboard 200 Albums Year-End chart, meaning it was this year's most popular album in the States. Bad Bunny's tour, the Hottest World Tour, brought in over $435 million from 81 shows, making it the highest grossing tour in a single year. The highest grossing tour in history, Ed Sheeran's Divide Tour, spanned from 2017 to 2019. Within the same time span, Bad Bunny grossed about $3 million more than Ed Sheeran, and that's with the ticket fiasco a couple weeks ago. Of course, with all these accomplishments, it's easy to see why Bad Bunny has been named the year's biggest pop star. But if 2022 has taught us anything, it's that Ticketmaster needs to be stopped. Honestly, what a year. Even though it feels like 2022 just sort of flew by, when I look back on it, I'm like, a lot of things did take place this year. And not even just the things that I mentioned, because way more things than that happened. But anyways, as always, let me know what you guys think about the pop culture moments I discussed, and also let me guys know about ones that I didn't discuss if you have opinions on those. As always, thank you dolls so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you can stick around for more. And if you would like to become a channel member, you can click the link in the description of this video or the join button on my channel. Merry Christmas, dolls, to those of you who celebrate, and happy holidays to those of you who don't, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.